What is up, guys? Happy Friday and welcome in. This is the McGinnis Pick Show. We are happy to be here once again, like every week, with Mr. Jeff Dawson from East Coast Sports Investors. A reminder, guys, we are back at 3 p.m. Eastern, though, right here on this channel and on some other social networks as well, breaking down some NHL season-long player props. So don't miss out on that. But today, we've got NFL team totals, NFL sides, NFL totals to go over for week 3. Before I bring Jeff Dawson in, guys, I do want to let you guys know about two things. Number one, it is a half price day at wagertalk.com, meaning my play of the day in the CFL, Friday Night Lights, half off. Originally $25, get that for $12.50 right now over at wagertalk.com. You can see my short link right there, wt.buzz/am. And if you want to join me for 3 days, get those 3 days for the price of one using that promo code in the top right-hand corner of your screen, AM39. But I thank you guys all for being with me as always. And I'll tell you what, Jeff was telling me off air that where he is right now, it's starting to feel a little like fall and we got some colder weather and even some rain. Well, Jeff, this is the worst weather we've had where I am all week long. And I've been waiting to wear this little top here, this button up, this corduroy. And I felt like, I go to my car and it's 28 degrees Celsius, which I think that's probably like 80, 85, we'll say Fahrenheit. And now it is freezing here today, Jeff. It's hockey season, and it's definitely football season. Happy Friday.
Happy Friday. Always blessed and honored to be a part of the start the week with ECSI and the end the week, of course, at McGinnis Picks. Yeah, we got one of these nor'easters that's hanging off the ocean, and it hit us already last night, and instead of going out to see, it's hanging around, and so it's that windy raw. We got a couple inches of rain. It hadn't rained in forever, so that's a good thing. But yeah, the fall crispness is here. I can feel it in my bones. The older you get, the colder it is. Yeah, the coffee isn't working this morning, Andrew.
You know what, Jeff? It's funny you say that. Every now and then, I've been getting better with this. I will have an early morning coffee. Don't get me wrong, but I've got this huge like mason jar. I don't even know if we can call it a mason jar with how big this is. I'm trying to drink almost like 1.5 of these before I can reward myself with coffee. And we're almost done this one here, and so I haven't had my coffee yet, and I need it. I need it on this Friday. I'm in a good mood, but I need that coffee with how it feels out there in the crisp air. But I got to go visit you in the fall, and I'm not sure it's going to happen in the next week or two, but I know it's beautiful right where you are, just like it is where I am. We don't like to live in the past. We like to go in the future, but I do have to ask you, because you are right around that area with the New England Patriots, the win outright on the highway over the Bengals week number 1, then you got the Seahawks go to overtime. Hey, back-to-back competitive games. You got to love that. And then week 3, the offensive line issues really show. The defense gets even more banged up. And then you got Aaron Rodgers slicing and dicing, not even really planting his back foot, just all arms, perfect spiral every time. He got the job done, and they covered the point spread there. I saw that FanDuel, DraftKings, all these places were adjusting the team win total under over for the Patriots, as you'd think, because they have won. They're 1-1 to start the year, and overtime against Seattle. How many people do you think went in yesterday before that game started and took the under 6.5 wins for the Patriots?
It's funny. I was reaching out to a lot of colleagues yesterday during the game, and I was watching this game, and I have nothing but applaud for the Jets. Not many people on social media were really talking about this. Is the fact that they opened up Monday night in San Fran, and then 6 days later they played at Tennessee, and then 4 days later they're back home for their home opener. So they basically played 3 games in what? I don't know, my math is awful here. 11, 12 days it seems like. I was watching vintage Aaron Rodgers. I had to keep wiping my eyes. It's funny is we don't talk a lot about the national guys. Colin Cowherd at Fox, he was saying how Aaron Rodgers is washed up, a shell of himself, doesn't extend plays, doesn't run anymore. And I sent out a tweet to a buddy of mine. I'm like, oh my God. I'm like, Colin's going to be eating crow and J-Mac's going to have an amazing day. I don't think it was as bad for the Patriots as good as what I could say for the Jets. 10 days off now, 2-1. They're just going to get better, better, and better. And if the Jets and Aaron Rodgers stays upright for 17 games, they got the best, if not the top three defenses in the league. One of the elite wide receivers with Garrett Wilson. Big Mike is going to get better. He's got a binky with Lazard. Conklin had a big day, and because of the game flow, they could take it easy on Brees Hall, and the rookie Braylon Allen is a beast. So, hey, listen, I put them head on top in the AFC East. Now I know they'll have to face Buffalo twice, but man, and listen, I'm not an Aaron Rodgers honker here, but I was so impressed with what he played yesterday.
Well, as a Packers fan, actually, the reason why I started being a Packers fan was because of Aaron Rodgers. So I've always loved the way he plays. I love watching him. To me, it's the effortless motion of how he throws the ball. It's just, he makes it look cool. There's no other better way I could put it. I know a lot of people might not think he's cool because there's some stuff he says and does off the field, I guess. But on the field, he makes it look real easy. And what you said there, I find interesting, Jeff, about maybe it wasn't a horrible game for the Pats as much as people are saying it. Maybe it was good for the Jets. And I like to stir the pot every now and then on social media. Not as much as everybody else, but I like to get in the mix. And I said yesterday, the same people that were telling you going into the year how bad the Patriots are going to be are the same people that are telling you how awesome the Jets are playing tonight. And so to your point, are the Patriots playing poorly, or are the Jets just having a good game? And I agree with you. I think that the Jets just played a really well-rounded football game. How about that third down conversion rate? This team couldn't miss on third down. This was, I was on a show talking about Greg the Leg over 1.5 field goals. That might have to be a bet that nobody ever discusses again this season, because if they're in the red zone, they're going to try and score. If you get Rodgers to the 25-yard line, good luck sending out your field goal team. He doesn't want that. He does not want his kicker out there if they get that far. And then, of course, he missed one, Zerline, earlier in the game. So, it's interesting because you have a team now really rested. And, they had some tougher competition to start the season off. But again, they're only going to get better. And look at what this Jets team was like last year with guys like Zach Wilson behind center. Now you throw in Aaron Rodgers with the defense. And last thing I'll say, and I'll get your closing thoughts on this matchup and both these teams. How about Allen Lazard? I mean, I don't see this falling off anytime soon, Jeff. I can't see the connection going away anytime soon. The only thing I wonder as a prop bettor is how much it will change the receiving yard numbers, the reception numbers, the touchdown odds. I mean, if you were betting last week, the week prior, if you were betting Aaron Rodgers touchdown throws to Allen Lazard, you're cashing tickets at a real nice plus price when everybody else is betting these minus 185s on Saquon Barkley. I mean, you got to respect that they have that connection from their old team.
Aaron's like a Tom Brady in regards to the circle of trust. Okay, so if you're a rookie, you got to gain that trust for me to be able to throw the ball to you. Aaron is, when he came over to the Jets, he was bringing all his cast of characters, or trying to, from the Packers. Lazard ended up sticking and staying. There were talks about Devontae Adams from the Packers. From the Raiders coming over. it's in the NFL. Listen, I mean, how many times did you see it with Kansas City last year, where a guy goes out for a an 8 yard out, and Mahomes puts it right on his hands. It goes off your hands, up into the air, and it's picked off. And Aaron will give you that one opportunity. He gave a nice little fade to Big Mike, trying to get him a touchdown. He's very confident, obviously, in himself. But if you're not making the plays, you're not where you're supposed to be, you're not going to get the ball. And it's evolved. They were blown out early against the 49ers. You could see he checked himself out. They grinded out that win last week in Tennessee. Their offense wasn't that good. Tennessee played a good first half. They found a way to grind that one out. From start to finish, they were box to wire, their offense, their defense. And it was funny. We sent out the alert. We had the Jets team total first half over the 10.5, and we had the score 13-7. That's where our numbers had it for the first half. And I said, quote, Greg the leg from 52 for the walk-off. Well, the funny thing is, we got our 2 touchdowns. We already had cashed. He lined up for that field goal. The under-over in the first half was 19.5. So he was literally kicking for the over. And, man, he shanked it. It reminded me lining up, on the drive. I mean, on the ninth hole, 285 and really trying to crush it. But this team's going to be dangerous. This team, the only thing we didn't see yesterday was the discount double check. And I bet you that's coming, Andrew.
I want to see some celebrations from that guy. I love seeing the video, though, with the coach, Salah, on the sideline. That's going viral today with him shrugging him off. And I don't know what he said. Maybe the game's not over. I'm not sure what he said there. But you're right. And, again, hats off to you because, it's kind of like with me with these field goal props. A lot of times when I bet them now or if I even talk about them on shows, I'm looking at one guy and one guy only. And it's like you. If you would have played the first half over, that's a losing ticket. But you had one team and one team only, so I give you the respect that you deserve for those team totals. You know what you're doing, Jeff, and whether it's for it always. I honestly, it intrigues me the most when you send out the first half team totals, because I've seen you do the full games, but when I get the first half, I'm like, he must really like this one because the first half it's just a little more. It's a little different. But moving on to the rest of this week here, looking into the future. I'm going to start real quick with one pick, and we can kind of go back and forth here. I'll get your thoughts on some overreactions and stuff. I like the Broncos this week here, Jeff. And last week, I had them on a teaser leg with the Packers. And I'll tell you what, I needed a backdoor back-to-back field goals. I mean, it was not easy. I had back-to-back field goals in the fourth quarter. Anybody that had the Broncos on the regular spread, they would have wanted them to go for a touchdown on one of those plays. But no, they helped out the teaser bettors, and they got me back-to-back field goals. But to me, this is an example of a 13 or 14-point swing for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers compared to where they were point spread wise last week, Jeff. And this is why I really like this situation here. You go from being plus 6.5, plus 7 1 week to being minus 6.5, minus 7 1 week. You go from having the opportunity to lose by 6 and make your backers money to now having to win by 7 or more, depending on what number you got, to make your backers money. I get it. The rookie class, it's been a tough start to them. I think I believe in this Broncos team to keep this close. And, we're about 15 minutes into the show. I haven't talked about CFL yet. You know what this Broncos team reminds me in this spot? The Calgary Stampeders. They're not going to win this game, I don't think. But I think they're going to hang around. That's kind of going to be the expectation for me in this spot for them. I don't like to use the word flat spot. We're only a few weeks into the NFL season. But something tells me that the Bucs aren't going to just roll this Broncos team by any means. So that's the first play I'll mention here that I like quite a bit here. Plus 6.5 will go on the Broncos.
It's one of these spots, and it is. I think it's a perfect flat spot for Tampa here, who I didn't have them going and winning last week in Detroit. I didn't have that on my bingo card. And the fact is, the two quarterbacks that have shined the most so far, Derek Carr and Baker Mayfield. I mean, I didn't have those on my bingo card either. And again, it's a perfect flat spot. Now, we remember Seattle hosted Denver opening day, and kind of an ugly first quarter. Seattle starts to flex his muscles, and then here comes Denver with the back door wide open. Some might have cashed, some might not. I think it landed on a 6. I look at this game here. The actual true number that opened up was 5. There's only one way that it can go, and that is, of course, where it is right now at the circa 6.5 minus 15 cents with a 41. The under over opened at 43, now a 41. Quick math here has this one, at that 27.16. I'm sorry, that would be actually too much. Yeah, 23. 24-17, somewhere in that area. I look at the team totals. Denver 16.5 juiced over, minus 125. Tampa Bay 23.5 flat. Denver's not going to win this game if they roll the ball out and say first one to 30 wins. This is going to have to be a gut 'em out, win the turnover battle, move the chains. Let's get Javonte Williams going early. Let's get McLaughlin going early. Let's dink and dunk. Hey, Bo, go back to Oregon and remember you can use your legs and move the chains. A 40-year-old did it last night. I don't know if you were watching the game, okay? Remember, you got those legs there. So if I am on the Denver side, I think I got a little sneaky way of getting in by going Tampa Bay team total under 23.5. You can get that at plus $100.
I love it. I love it. Bringing that team total angle to us here. And you're right. Bo has to, you know what? Not only use his legs, the old KISS method. Keep it simple, stupid. I understand he's not the one drawing up these plays, but at the same time, don't try and overcomplicate things. Denver's got weapons around them. They really do. They've got running backs. They've got receivers that can make plays. They don't have the guys that are going to be showing up on your top 10 highlights. They don't have your guys that are going number 1 overall in fantasy football drafts, but they have tools, Jeff. They have weapons. And again, a lot of the handicap, and I think it goes well, it correlates with the under team total you just mentioned, for me, is that this Bucs team just finds themselves in a different spot. And let's not forget, what was it, 0 passing touchdowns, 2 interceptions for Jared Goff last week? Does that sound about right? So, I mean, it couldn't have been a worse start for the Lions to that game, and it couldn't have been a better go for the Buccaneers. So that's one that I'm in on. So we'll look at the plus 6.5, and we'll also look at the under team total there for the Buccaneers. But look at the board here. A couple interesting ones that stick out to me, Jeff. We got the Chargers, Steelers. Pitt, short home favorites. I've kind of seen some different opinions on that one. I've heard the Chargers seem to be a pretty popular teaser leg. We've got, of course, the Giants and Browns, the game that I hope nobody is going to go pay and watch that game. Packers, Titans, my pack, find themselves +3 road dogs. People thinking, hey, maybe this is the one. This team shows a little bit of struggles with no Jordan Love, even though he has not been ruled out. What are you seeing this week overall, and any little tidbits you could maybe give out to some viewers here?
We have now 2 weeks of data. Your eyes don't lie, but we had Bill Krakenberg on every Monday at 10:30 Eastern, 7:30 West Coast time, and he said something that I was like, wow, because you don't think of it this way. When you're watching a game and you have action on one of the sides, your eyes and brain are focused on that side. So, for instance, if you had the Patriots last night, okay, you are saying, oh my God, the left tackle's hurt, the right tackle's hurt, oh, he dropped that pass, how many false starts are you going to get, blah, 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 blah. You're not focused on the Jet side. Oh, geez, another phantom foul. So go back to Kansas City and Cincinnati last week, of course. Kansas City only won because of the PI. Well, that was one of the last flags of the game. There were 15 other flags, 15 other plays, misplays, but that's the one you focus on. If you had Cincinnati money line, that's what you focused on. You're not talking about the drop passes, or you're not talking about T. Higgins not playing again, Jamar Chase going through the motions, yada, yada, yada. So when Bill said that, I was like, wow. And so what we try to do here at ECSI is two things. You leave your heart and your ego at the door, and then you just go and dig to the numbers. So I'm going to give you a couple team totals that are intriguing here. Okay, we're going to go first of all. You talked about the Giants in Cleveland. How bad are the Giants? They're pretty damn bad, and Cleveland shows flashes. If I told you that the Giants team total is 14.5 juiced under minus 120, I would say 99.9% of everyone watching and listening to this game is going to say, there's no way in holy hell these Giants can score 15 points or more in Cleveland. Sign me up. Giants team total over 14.5 plus 100. There was one other one, the same thing. There was another stench of the week. I'll grab it. Give me 1 second here. Where was it?
And I will say, a lot of times, just real quick, as far as the prop market's concerned, Jeff, I pride myself on taking your Mike Williams of the world, taking your, secondary players a little bit that have these lower numbers. If you're not betting Malik Neighbors now, you're going to be having to have his number be at 95.5 yards, because sometimes even a bad team and a not so great quarterback has to throw the ball to somebody. And it's one thing I was trying to explain to someone yesterday, is that so many props can hit. Look at Douglas yesterday for the Patriots. There are so many different guys that can have good days, but be on a losing side, right? The Giants could lose by 14 points this weekend, and Malik Neighbors could go absolutely crazy once again and hit his over. That's the cool thing about player props. So I just wanted to mention that, because the target share between him and the rest of his team compared to other players that are compared to him and the rest of their team, it's second to none right now. Jeff, if other teams want to defend him, they should just give him the Garrett Wilson treatment, say we're going to make other guys beat us, and well, as we know, the Giants aren't really beating anybody. So I think it's worthy of mentioning. This Neighbors prop is probably worth mentioning, betting again, because until they start to find other guys, he's going to be their guy moving forward. But what was the other one you were going to look at?
Well, again, the Chargers seem like that sexy public dog this week, and it makes a lot of sense. Again, we talked about Tampa and the flat spot. Well, here the Steelers go on the road in Atlanta and win, and that looks even bigger after seeing Atlanta beat Philly on Monday night this week. Then they go to Denver, the Broncos that we talked about, another hard-fought win there. Now they come home 2-0. Justin Fields still got the job. If you like the Chargers, and I kind of lean there. I expect a little flat spot for Pittsburgh. But I'm going to give you an easier way to get the Chargers in. Their team total is 17.5 juiced under minus 135. Again, most people seen what the Pittsburgh D has done in Atlanta and now in Denver. Now they're coming home. The terrible yellow towels, TJ Watt. The place is going to be electric. And most people will say, well, Herbert's banged up. He's hurt. Their offensive line's a little shaky. Their wide receiving core is McConkey and who. And so my point is, most people would be on, well, they're not going to score more than 17 points. Well, if Vegas wanted you to think that, they would have had 16.5, not 17.5. Again, you got to really retweak, rewire the brain. So we like the Chargers team total over that 17.5 plus 115. And lastly, I'm going to give you one more here, Andrew. I gave you the Giants. I gave you the Chargers. Here's the third stench here. Seattle travels to Miami. And it's no Tua. It's Skylar Thompson. And we saw what he did in the second half. Obviously not ready for prime time here. We know the Seattle D go and beat the Patriots in overtime there. It beat the Broncos opening day. Doesn't look pretty, doesn't look good for Miami here. And again, their team total is 17.5, juiced under -120, not 16.5, guys. So again, run to the window, hold one of these, set it and forget it. Dolphins team total over the 17.5. Skylar to Hill, maybe Skylar to Waddle. I don't care if it's Skylar to A-Chain or whoever, but 17.5 over. +1.
I love it. I love it. Hey, you know what? It's very similar to Jordan Love going out. Malik Willis comes in, gets the job done. Who's to say that Thompson can't get it done there? And I do think the Waddle's the guy. And Jeff, it's funny. My girlfriend got a fantasy football team I love it. Got a fantasy football team for the first time ever. And she's all excited, drafted really well. Of course, I helped her out. Tyreek Hill was her top pick. And I said, you know what? You could be in trouble because I think this Waddle guy is getting a little more love now that Tua is out. But guys, you can see on the bottom of the screen, the scroller. Follow Jeff on X at EC Sports Invest. I would list all the shows he's doing, but we'd be here for another 25 minutes. He's got to run all kinds of shows, all kinds of betting advice, all kinds of information on Instagram, TikTok, you name it. So Jeff, thank you for your time. Always enjoy starting and ending the week with you. And guys, we'll see Jeff on his channel on Monday. But until then, enjoy the games. Best of luck. We'll see you next time.